our Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, still in the hospital.
It's been 2 weeks now.
And it's stunning to think that he has not been at the helm for the 2 weeks when we didn't know. What's more stunning is the president didn't know. And what's also stunning is, why is it that it's okay for the president, when everybody's healthy, not to talk to your Secretary of Defense when you got the Middle East ready to explode and China has us on the pins and needles?
And instead of saying this is the person who's now in charge while the Secretary of Defense is in the hospital, they're not saying that. They're just saying he needs a little bit more, probably a little bit more care, might need some physical therapy. Listen, this is John Kirby, the White House National Security spokesperson.
He's following his doctor's orders and in consultation with their views in terms of what kind of additional care he needs. And we'll see, when he can get released. But obviously, they still feel like he may need some additional care. I understand that part of that is just physical therapy.
Just physical therapy? Excuse me? What is going on?
He goes on to say, remember that the cabinet officials don't have to sit and talk every single day to make a decision. A lot of the work gets done in national security at the staff level.
So Admiral Kirby, who knows the hierarchy and spent decades in the military and reached one of the top levels in the Navy, this guy, as a four-star general in the Army, they know the protocol. If you're in or out of uniform, you live your life the same way you've been trained. So now he's in civilian clothes being retired, and he seems to have lost all equilibrium when it comes to being responsible. And I'll add something else to his nuance. I watched Kirby's interview, and he said Austin was in on the decision to strike the Houthi rebels in back-to-back days. Okay. What about the decision to take out the militia leader? Well, that was done prior to him being hospitalized. Okay. But in on the decision and making the decision, a lot different. And do you think the Deputy Secretary of Defense, if she's making that decision, should we at least know that?
Yeah, we should. There should be total transparency here. Secretary Austin was under anesthesia, was knocked out, was having surgery for cancer. We're so sorry to know that he was diagnosed with this. But when you're the Secretary of Defense and national security is in your hands and you're knocked out in a hospital having surgery and we don't know about it, the president doesn't know about it, your number two doesn't even know about it, that's a problem.
And right now, we are looking at a situation where we have the Houthi rebels hit us this morning. Are we going to hit back? When you talk about why it matters in that area, do you know that shipping costs have gone up 700%? Do you know that oil and gas are now at $80 a barrel? And do you know the reason why? Because the Red Sea is now a perilous trip. So perilous, many are going around the Horn of Africa. So therefore, everything costs more. And our coalition, led by us, is wondering what percentage of the Houthi arsenal, and it's an arsenal now, we took out. You know what the answer is? We had 90% of our targets, but only took out 20% of their firepower. So the question is, how much is left? And does any civilian commercial ship feel as though they can go through that passageway now? And we have a Secretary of Defense that's given us the sense that we look weak and discordant.
The Houthi rebels are completely against Israel. They want to take out ships that are trying to get to through those waterways up toward Israel. They're right in line with Hezbollah. They have their slogans, their chants are all anti-Israel. And when our Secretary of Defense is incapacitated and in the hospital, and we're in the middle of this, what's happening over there, it's pretty scary. And these are our lives at stake. These are the Israelis' lives at stake. And there needs to be more communication. And they're still not really communicating us to tell us who's in charge.
Exactly. So the Gaza operation is underway. And it came out this weekend that the president in December basically said to Netanyahu, I'm done talking to you. That's how high the frustration is. That is why the Secretary of Defense went there. The Secretary of State went there. You have a Secretary of Defense who's actually a military general that functioned at a highest level in Fallujah, in Mosul, as well in Afghanistan. So his advice during this time in a very dense area like Gaza would be indispensable. But right now, he is unfortunately indisposed, so he's not able to function. So you got the president making phone calls, the Secretary of State or Jake Sullivan with no military experience sitting in on the Israeli military operations.
On another vacation
on Camp David. So there you go. We have a problem, and I think Democrats are realizing it too.